Unfortunately, that thumbnail is not clickbait. The sharks were stolen, and I can prove it now. There's been updates on that, and I'm going to talk about that in this video and show you the evidence of what happened. It's pretty bizarre, but let me put it this way. Some of you guys were absolutely right. What you said happened, it looks like that's what happened. As you see behind me, we did a big rescape on the 600 gallon, or we added CO2 to the 600 gallon. And I don't know, I had a wild hair at my butt or something. I decided to go ahead and redo the 220 Discus Aquarium as well, and that came out interesting but cool. I mean, very cool actually, but whole different concept going on over there, and I'm liking it so far. And of course, progress on Predator Bay 3000, that mega system over there. We got to get that going quick because we got shark babies on the way. So lots of progress there. So let's just get right into it, I guess. So before we get into rescaping the tanks and the progress on Predator Bay 3000, let me tell you what happened with the sharks, the new news there is on that. So for anyone who doesn't know, a few videos back, I had to rant because the United States Postal Service lost both my packages sending shark eggs out to people, and lost and destroyed my package that was being delivered to me all at the same time. 0 for 3 just seemed pretty mind-boggling to me. So yeah, I ranted about it. And then of course started UPS hell, where I'm trying to get my money for the insurance for my lost packages, but when you talk to one side of that organization, they're like, well, your package is still in transit. I'm like, yeah, but it's been in transit forever, and when you try to talk to those people to see where your package is, they tell you it's lost. And when I try to talk to you guys to reimburse me for the insurance on the package, you tell me it's still in transit. So, you know, it can't be both, right? So, anyway, going through that ridiculousness, of course, like what happens to everybody, their strategy worked. They just sat there and did nothing week after week after week, the runaround. Yes, after 3 weeks, I finally gave up. I was just like, this is so freaking ridiculous. I just wrote them off, and I said, next time, it's going to be UPS. And Kiefer, I am going to send you, I'm trying to sort out a couple of sharks that aren't getting ready to burst, because a lot of these eggs are getting ready to hatch. The first batch, this is the time frame. And that actually plays a part in this story too, because the timing of this is, you know, oh so perfect. So any rate, yeah, so if any eggs going out in the future, UPS or FedEx or something else, not the Postal Service. So at any rate, I've written them off, I've given up, they won, they beat me down, you know, millions of hours on hold, talking to people who I don't have anything nice to say about, so I won't say anything. I gave up, you know, they succeed. So lo and behold, I go to the Clash, I come back, and I get an email from Kiefer. Kiefer's the gentleman who owns the store just south of Kentucky, or just south of Cincinnati in northern Kentucky. The marine store tried to send him the eggs, and guess what? After all this time, after months, the package arrived. He got the package. Oh my God. So it wasn't lost or destroyed. But check this out. So the package shows up, and the t-shirt is in there that I gave him, the towel's in there, but all the shark eggs were cut open with scissors and opened up, and there's no sharks. There's just 3 perfectly cut open eggs. And guess what? So this package disappears, and somehow just the exact time to where these sharks were due to hatch, now conveniently the package shows up with the shark eggs already opened with perfectly cut, you know, scissors. Not the shark gnawing out with his little you know, tooth they have for getting out the side of the egg. No, right on the flat part of the egg, perfectly cut and peeled open, and then put back and then delivered. So who in the world could possibly have access to this package, hold it for 2 months, take the contents of the eggs, and then put it back together and then get it on its way? As far as I can tell, I mean, I'm not a detective, but it seems to me that would have to be somebody in the post office to be able to do that. So the guys, so all you people out there who said the post office stole your sharks, well, it sure as hell looks like you're right. I mean, I've been putting the evidence up on the screen, the email chain, the photographs. Kiefer has a video of receiving the package. Freaking ridiculous. I got to reach out to Don now and see if by any chance that happened with him as well. If it's the same group that did this, or I mean, I sent them both out from here, from my house, or you know, from my local post office. So it damn well could be the same people got all of them, you know, no matter where they were going. So I'm going to follow up on that. But what a turn, you know, unbelievable. But I guess it is believable because there's a bunch of you guys who said, yeah, that's what happened, no doubt, you know. And a lot of people who ship stuff, their advice to me was, you know, don't tell them what's in it, don't put live fish on the thing, you know, just low key is better. And yeah, I guess you guys speak from experience, and now I do too. So, all right, well, that's the update on the shark saga. You know, one thing I can hope for, I hope a whole hell of a lot of bad karma comes to these douchebags who stole my sharks, but I do hope the sharks live, and that I hope they give the sharks a good life, or sell them to people who give them a good life, something like that. But I hope they get a whole lot of negative karma coming their way, because that was BS. But let's get on to better stuff. Let's get on to rescaping the 600 gallon, adding CO2, all the progress on the Predator Bay 3000, and a surprise change up on the 220 gallon Discus aquarium. All right, this is the last look at the 600 gallon Asian jungle in this form, because we are getting ready to drain the tank. We're going to add CO2 and about 100 plants or so, and probably move a few things around. So yeah, hopefully it's going to look awesome. I have high hopes for it, but we'll find out together in this video, because we'll show the progress of tearing it down, adding in all the new stuff, filling it back up, and yeah, we'll see what the results look like. And of course, over time, we'll see how the CO2 does. But I figure, why just do some big changes to the 600? Let's go do some big changes to the 220 gallon Amazon Discus aquarium as well. So we might as well spread the love to the Discus aquarium as well. This is the 220 gallon Amazon Discus aquarium and friends. And what we're going to do to this tank, we know that the filtration's all good. Just needs a little bit of a trim up, which is nutrient export. But as far as the top tank, I was using the vines from the pothos to give it that sort of jungle look. But I don't like the lights to be too high. So what I'm thinking about doing is removing the pothos, removing the tops, and then adding an entire top cover of water lettuce. I have a ton of water lettuce because I use it in my filters, and I mass produce it like crazy. And sorry, I always have to look in at the green phantom. I love that thing. So yeah, let's give this thing a different look. We're going to pull off that pothos from the top. We'll just leave the pothos down in the filter. We'll clean it up a little bit, do a big water change, and add in the water lettuce. So yeah, if anyone's wondering, it does take a long time, even with a pump, to pump out 600 gallons. I do like to show, or actually, I'm not going to pump out all 600 gallons, but probably 400 gallons. So anyway, I like to show it when the water level's down, so you can really appreciate how deep the aquarium is. I mean, it is 4 feet front to back. It's only 6 feet wide, so it doesn't have that huge, you know, wow factor with the length. But with being so deep, that is the wow factor. And you can see how we have that hardscape in the middle, and you can see there's a big area behind it, and then of course that root wall goes all the way down. So you can see we're looking pretty good over here on the left side. But there's certainly a little bit of room up top there to add some more plants. Of course, we're gonna saturate that back wood wall with plants, and then we got a lot of work we can do over here on the right side to get that cleaned up. So yeah, it is looking good so far. So I'm gonna let that pump do its job, because it's obviously a lot easier to work in here when it's not 3 feet deep. Trying to reach 4 feet back into 3 feet of water, not very fun. Alright, so I'm going to let the pump keep going and get the water level all the way down, because as you can imagine, trying to reach back 4 feet into the tank, you need the water as low as possible to give as good access as possible. And I think I'll go ahead and get the plants prepped, because it's almost time to replant this bad boy. Alright, the water level's down. I got a bucket full of plants and my handy dandy tweezers. This isn't really aquarium size. Let's see. Yeah, let's use these instead. This should make life a little easier reaching 4 feet back in that tank. So I'm going to see what I can do in here, and then we'll take a look and we'll fill it back up and then hook up the CO2. Alright, there we go. Planting is done. That is definitely a lot of work, but you know what? I sit down for a couple minutes, I take a look at it, and it's all worth it. You know, these 600, these bigger tanks like this, when you have to do something like this, it's by far more work than a smaller tank. But when I'm looking at this, oh man, I can just see once the CO2 is going and this all grows in, all these little guys swimming around in there. I just remember how many times I can get lost in this tank just watching these guys swim around. And I can't wait to see this grow in. I'm excited. So it's time to get this filled up and get some CO2 installed. Oh man, the Asian jungle is finally going to be a jungle. Man, I cannot wait. All right, she's filling. I'll check back in an hour or so. So now that I've done all those new plants in the 600-gallon Asian jungle, it's kind of making the Amazon Discus aquarium look a little bit bare. So it's time to give this guy an overhaul. Of course, we'll prune off some excess jungle val that's grown up there. We're going to pull out all those roots you see there that are coming off the pothos. We're going to cut all that top pothos off. We're going to remove the lids. And of course, we don't clean up the glass. It never gets a cleaning, so after time it does build up a little bit of algae there. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do that now and then move over all that water lettuce. So the next time you see this tank, all those vines will be gone, but we're gonna have all the roots of the water lettuce basically wall to wall, front to back. I'm just gonna create a standoff so that the water lettuce can't gum up the overflow over there. But other than that, that's what's gonna be my evaporation protection, is that the entire top of the tank will have water lettuce all the way, which will block a lot of the evaporation, just like it does in the sumps. So it's going to be interesting because the roots are going to hang down a little ways. Should be about perfect because the discus, they generally are in this sort of mid-top area. Those roots should, come down kind of in this area. So it'll be interesting, but we'll give it a try, see how it looks, and of course, we're going to have to start dosing this more heavy with all that water loss because it does a great job of pulling out nutrients. But between all that emergent growth water lettuce and the big vegetable filter down here, the Discus aquarium should be filtered better than ever. Alright, so I missed the weekend, or really 4 days going up to the Keystone Clash, Thursday through Sunday. It was a blast, but we've got baby sharks that are bursting at the seams, getting ready to hatch. So yeah, we need to get the mangrove estuary ready and get the Predator Bay 3000 all connected up and this whole massive system running, because we're on a clock here. We got baby sharks on the way. You're probably noticing something different right now, and yes, the tank has the final coat of black pond shield on it, so it is ready. Well, once it's dry, because this has just been put on, it's going to be ready for glass install. Then after glass install, we'll get the plumbing up, clean out the sump down here, and yeah, we're going to turn this bad boy on. We got to make about 4,500 gallons of salt, so that should be fun. Alright, we are fully planted and filled back up, and I got to say that first glance, it's a lot better. I found a couple areas where I want to add a little more crypts up front, maybe some boost, something like that. Definitely got sort of an empty spot over here, but as far as that right side, that is much more built up with plants. We've got the big wood wall back there, much more filled in. I might find a spot for another plant or two in the middle there, but looking good over here on the left and looking really good in the front. And we got a lot more in the middle. We have plants that should grow tight around that middle spot there and not grow back into that space. We got a nice big space behind there that the fish can go all the way around that, as well as it has the tunnels that go through it. We have a tunnel entrance there and over here hidden in there. Plus we have tunnel complex going through the big substrate piles on the right and the left. That's where the clown loaches like to go into. They can go in there and they can come out all the way in the back over there. So yeah, big time improvement. A few more plants to go, but this definitely gives you an idea of the replanting, the crux of it. Fish are loving it. They always like a nice quarterly water change, or whenever I have to do aquascaping, because it's a lot easier than reaching in 3 feet down into a tank. So at any rate, it's time for me to go ahead and get the CO2 added to this system so that hopefully everything we've done here will thrive and continue to grow and truly make this a jungle. So I'm going to get started on that right now. Okay, now that the 600 gallon has been rescaped, we have the plants in, it's time to go ahead and add the CO2. So I have the F-zone regulator, and this isn't going to be how to do CO2 or anything like that. I'm just showing you what I'm using and what the plan is. So
the F-zone regulator here on the CO2 canister. I have the airline tubing from them. Now it's key that you get specific airline tubing, because just the regular stuff, the CO2 will basically eat through it or degrade it. So it'll destroy it over time. And then of course a diffuser. And of course we have the bubble counter here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this set up. Obviously I'm gonna have to do a little bit of special stuff in terms of connecting this, but I'll fix this to the return in the back. That way it'll blow the CO2 out into the aquarium. So I'll get it hooked up on there. And the other last thing is, you see this extension cord over here? It runs parts of the filtration on a different schedule than the lights and the main pump and everything like that. So the main pump runs all the time, obviously. The lights have their own schedule. And this, I only run the oxygen from the air pumps into the sump while the timer's on for this extension cord. So the CO2 is going to be the same deal. So the CO2 will only be running during the day when the lights are on, and then it'll turn off 100% when the lights aren't on. And as well as I stop pumping oxygen into the sump during the evening, and then I start up again during the day when there's higher CO2 levels in the system. Oh, there's some very good nitrate export right there. And all cleaned up in the front here, all cleaned up in the top. But I would say definitely looking kind of bare in the tank. It's definitely missing something now. And that's just without those roots hanging out from the pothos. That's the only real change right now. And other than the fish are all hiding, but it does look quite bare. But we're going to add a whole bunch of water lettuce. So I think it's going to change that dynamic really quick, because that top area is going to get densely packed with root structure hanging down. And then we have our wood root coming up and our sort of grass-like plants. I can see this working out. I'm got high hopes for this. So let's get some water lettuce in there and see what it looks like. All right, I would say we have a healthy bed of water lettuce in there, and it is. I gotta say, it's an interesting look. It's definitely interesting. Those are some very, very healthy plant roots. Some healthy filter lettuce there, but. Yeah, very cool actually. I mean, right now it's so different to me. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about it, but I think I'm liking it. You know, I definitely like the flow of the roots. The fish are interacting. I noticed what's happening is the smaller fish are up. They used to hang around by the bottom a lot. They're up more into the water column. I guess they have the roots for cover and everything. Discus don't seem affected by it whatsoever. It's definitely a little more muted light-wise, but it's pretty cool because there's no lids. The light, you do get the shimmer where it comes through, where there's not as much density of plants. So pretty interesting. Definitely pretty interesting. Yeah, Discus seem to like it. Very cool. Definitely gives it a cool aura. There's definitely something about the way it filters the lighting. The dynamic has changed the look of the tank quite a bit, and I definitely like that for sure. So very cool. Give these guys some food. They're first feeding with their new aquarium decor, and the Discus are right up there. They're not bothered by it. Looks like the rummy nose as well, getting something to eat. They're just basically following the food across the tank. Discus grabbing it everywhere. And I'm sort of noticing that my glow light tetras and my neons, they sort of faded off, but I guess it's kind of 4 or 5 years for them, so they might just be aging out, I'm guessing. I have to check on that. I can't quite remember the smaller tetra what the average lifespan is, but something like 3 to 5 years sounds like it would probably be correct. So definitely aging out. I think I've spoken about that before with this aquarium, that it needs more of the smaller fish, that the population is kind of wound down over time. But yeah, the more I'm looking at this, the more the lighting, the diffused lighting, is just pretty cool. Also, it's definitely a huge sight break up there. There's sort of the sight break up at the top with the water lettuce, and then the sight break down at the bottom with the hardscape and the wood.
and then that sort of space in between, you know, vertically in between in the middle. That's kind of cool. Definitely gives it kind of that jungle look. Awesome. Yeah, I think this is going to work. But again, still getting used to it, but so far so good. This is a pretty cool look. And I definitely have no worries about filtration between that and that. I think we're going to be in good shape. Plus, yeah, we have plants inside the tank as well. Cool. And for the diehards who watch at the end of the video, these are some of my little friends that I brought back from the Keystone Clash. And a shout out, a thank you to Mike's Bulgarian Greens for giving me a good deal. And basically, he didn't have what I wanted right there at the show, but he went home and brought back the size and quantity I wanted, and we worked a good deal. So I really appreciate that. And everyone made it home perfectly, and they're doing great. I know there's no light on here, but yeah, these are some of the future feature fish for the 1,200 gallon Amazonian Community Aquarium. So far, they are looking beautiful. So I gotta say, I was a little unsure adding the water lettuce to the 220 Discus aquarium when I first did it. It took a minute to get used to, but it's been a week or so now, and I absolutely love it. The shadows, the way it brings up all the small tetra up into the roots, and just the comfort level it gives them. The light play, you know, the light filtering through the water lettuce, very, very, very cool. So I'm very happy with that, and we'll see with the CO2 on the 600 gallon. Obviously, I don't need to prove that CO2 works with growing plants, but what I mean by that is, you know, we'll see what that tank turns into with the CO2 on it. Hopefully, it's going to be awesome, and hopefully, it's finally going to live up to its name of the Asian Jungle Aquarium. But either way, so far it looks good, and again, I have no doubt the CO2 will work, so we'll see it grow in together. And of course, Predator Bait 3000, I got shark eggs bursting at the seams here. I need my shark baby estuary up and running yesterday. So as you can imagine, the next video is going to be all in on Predator Bait 3000. It's go time. So that system, I'm 100% focused on that system until it's up and running, because I don't got time to wait. So as always, I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you soon.